So today I just kind of want to tell you guys really how I got started on this road to fitness and longevity. It really all kind of starts from back when I was a kid, back in the 70s. And as a kid, I was overweight. My mother was really nice. She would call me Husky, which I thought was great. But I was pretty chunky. And in fact, when I was 8 years old, I broke my femur. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but your femur is the biggest bone in your body. It's it's near your thigh. You can't really see me using my thigh, but it's near your thigh bone. Okay, and when it breaks, if it breaks cleanly, then your muscles tense up and your bones are layered like this. So they put me in traction, meaning they tied some weights to my ankle, pulled my bones out so they're like this, and then they put me in the body cast for 3 months. Now I'm already starting out with some weight issues, so you can imagine after 4 months essentially lying on your back. You're going to be a little bit heavier of a child at that point. So by the time I was 8, I was getting up there. And then by the time I got to junior high, I really started to try to battle that because I was already having some issues dealing with the way that people perceived me. And I know a lot of you other people have experienced this. If you grew up a little bit overweight, or a little bit fat, and people look at you funny or they make fun of you, and it doesn't feel good. So you do what you can to cope. And right now, I know it's a big problem with the body shaming. Now we have the social media that really kind of creeps in. But what's interesting, and I know I'm getting off track for a second here, but this is interesting, so I kind of want to think about this. Back when I was a kid in the 70s and I was overweight, percentage-wise, there were significantly less children my age that were overweight than there are now. So, and this is a question, is it more accepted for children to be overweight now than it was back then? Or is it worse as a child to be overweight now because of social media and everybody's access to all these pictures and everybody talking about you being overweight and so forth? That's an interesting question, and obviously I'll never be a kid again, so I can't really go experiment and find out for myself. But anyway, so back to my story. Growing up, I did deal with being an overweight child for a long period of time. By the time I got to junior high, I really got into playing music, and I wanted to be a rock star and all these sort of things. And then I realized when I worked out, my muscles kind of came out pretty fast and so forth. So I started to drop some weight. I'm not going to say I became a thin person by any means, but what I did become is at least a more average build. But I was I was moving myself out of being the person that was judged because he was fat. And that's been a motivator throughout most of my life, because I just did not like the way that people would stare at me and view me when I was overweight. Now, as I got older into my 30s, it became more of a struggle to keep that weight off. As you know, as you get older, it is much more difficult to keep it off. And then, of course, now I'm getting into working full time. I'm a professional. I'm in the automotive industry, so I'm working 60 plus hours a week. I'm eating a bunch of crappy food. It gets to a point where I become very heavy. I'm over 230 pounds. I'm pre-diabetic. Actually, my A1C says I am diabetic. And when I go and you do those blood tests to get your insurance. And when I did that, they came back and said, listen, your rates are going way up because you're pre-diabetic. And now I've got high blood pressure. My doctor's trying to put me on those medicines. And then now I've also got this daughter. And I'm thinking, okay, what's going to happen to me if I continue down this path? I've got high blood pressure. Diabetes is coming on. My father just recently had a bout with congestive heart failure where he almost died. So all these things are happening, and I'm thinking, well, is that going to be me? Do I need to start taking better care of myself? Well, how am I going to start taking better care of myself? I work all the freaking time. How am I going to do it? And once I looked at my daughter, and I'll show you some pictures of just me seeing my daughter and just sort of seeing how I was. When I looked at her, I realized that no matter what, I was going to have to figure out a way. And I know there are people that work a tremendous amount of hours that are healthy. So, why can't I do that? And so what I did was I did a lot of research, and because that's what everybody does first, right? I mean, you don't actually want to go straight to the gym. You want to research what you're going to do first, because getting yourself to move is very, very, very difficult, right? So I definitely did a whole lot of research. I tried a whole bunch of stupid diets. I tried the HCG diet, Christ. And don't get me wrong, HCG diet worked. All right, I lost weight, and I gained it right back and more. Okay, so I tried all of that stuff. But in the end, the one thing that worked for me, the one way I was able to maintain losing the weight, fixing every single one of my health markers, was looking at the actual foods I ate, meaning the types of foods that I ate, and eliminating or significantly reducing the ones that would cause health issues, and then also coming up with a workout program that I could sustain that didn't take a tremendous amount of time, but something that I could do a few days a week and it wouldn't be an issue. There'd be no reason to miss. There'd be no excuses to miss. And then once I did that, I was able to naturally reverse every single one of my chronic conditions. And I didn't even mention them all. I mean, I had low testosterone, had a lot of inflammatory issues. And so there are so many things that you could tackle, or me personally, that I was able to tackle simply because I took a step back and I said, I absolutely have to fix this. And so this has made me really, really passionate about this, because I see a whole lot of other people around me that are suffering from a lot of the same issues that I had. And because I work in the car business, I see them every day. And they walk up to me like, Jesse, what did you do? Jesse, what did you do? How did you do this? What's the diet? What's the diet? What's the diet? Everybody always wants to know what the diet is. Okay? And what I want everybody to realize, it's not about dieting, because you cannot diet for the rest of your life. It is about making a habit of picking the right foods on a daily basis. And when you can make that habit of picking the right foods on a daily basis, and make a habit of doing enough exercise on a daily basis, that's all you need to do. And then everything's fixed. But you don't need to South Beach this, or necessarily keto all day this, or paleo all day. You don't have to do that. You don't have to find this little box and only eat these particular things. You don't have to do that. And you don't have to go to the gym for 2 hours a day. You don't have to do that. But if your goal is just to be a healthier person, it's really not that difficult to do, and I'm living proof. So on this channel, I'll be talking a whole lot about some of the things that I did. I also wrote a book called Fit Beyond 40. I am giving that away for free, and you guys will be able to see a link to get that book right down there in the bottom of the description. Guys can go ahead and take advantage of that for free. But like I said, I'll be sharing all sorts of information on the channel as well. And if you have any questions or any comments, please let me know. But anyway, that's my story, and that's why I'm here. I know that it can be done. I know that a lot of you have doctors that are prescribing you drugs left and right. And I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that in some cases, it may not be necessary that you take drugs. It may, in fact, be better if instead of you addressing just the symptom, you go ahead and fix the problem. If you fix the problem, you don't need the drugs, because the drugs don't fix the problem. The drugs fix, or address, I should say, the symptom. All right? But anyway, thanks for listening to me. Talk to you guys later.